Entertainment, the source of a society. Within human history, it has always been an indicator for the well-being of a society, and before all, a way to maintain stability and sometimes unite the people. Then came out themed entertainment, with World's Fair, complex examples of concept being turned into pure immersion. From the streets of Cairo to Le Palais des Mirages in Paris, they created entertainment but did something more by telling stories, immersing and achieving a different objective, making people dream. But it was all nothing compared to the arrival of Disneyland, a complex theme park which managed to not only entertain or make people dream, but instead created a whole new form of art. This succession of events would later create not only an idea to export the concept of themed entertainment or theme parks, but a true need for it. From Nora Dreamland in Japan to Phantasialand in Germany, passing by Mirapolis in France, the example of post-Disneyland theme park boom is surely of a massive scale. Which all brings us to an emergent country, the most populated of its time, in the middle of a big economic reform to open its system and society, China.
The pace of living has been unchanged in hundreds of years.
So today let's dive into the history of China's first large-scale theme park, how it came to be, how important it was, and before all, why it got forgotten and now stay dormant in probably the most impressive modern example of abandoned theme parks. Our story starts in 1978. From this date, economic reform have been put in place by the Chinese president at the time, Deng Xiaoping. China is slowly evolving toward a more international market. The overall population started to have access to more resources, and the middle class started to grow by the 1980s. A stark contrast for a population finally standing 20 years after the Great Famine. Within this context, the need for amusement park started quickly to pop out as an economic necessity to boost tourism and give entertainment to the population. Many communist countries at the time started to turn toward amusement park businesses, such as USSR with its Spree Park in Berlin or Pripyat amusement park in Ukraine, or even the DPRK with its infamous Myeongdong Fun Fair. China, on the other hand, already did some experiments with small amusement parks, such as the one that used to be located in Changping. But unlike its communist cousins, China had bigger plans when it comes to entertainment, a risky yet courageous bet. Its own first large-scale theme park. By the middle of the 80s, plans started to be made on this whole new project. A location was finally chosen. This theme park will be built against the Mangshan Mountain and beside the water of the Mingtum Reservoir around Beijing. The spot was chosen for its significance between old and new China. You see, the reservoir was built in 1958 as one of the first mega projects of the People's Republic of China, as well as sitting close to the mausoleum of the Ming Dynasty, making it a good compromise between tourism, accessibility from the city, and rich natural landscape. By 1985, the reservoir was drained and construction began. It was assured in collaboration with the Kumagai Group, a Japanese company in charge of the layout, one of the first international joint venture in Neo-China. By 1987, the park's centerpiece started to take shape. The underwater Dragon Palace Island, one of the most ambitious dark ride concepts of its time, where the visitor will board an Omnimover type system and travel to the Dragon King Palace inside of a show building submerged 20 meters under the lake and its fake island. There, the visitor will meet creatures, mermaids, dragons, and gods, thanks to the usage of animatronics, special effects, and large-scale sets. Not much is known about the diverse stage of the dark ride development and concepts. Most of the character design and manufacturing was done by the American company AVG Entertainment,
AVG.
with people such as Alvaro Villa or David Hall managing the team in charge of the project.
The dragons and the mermaids at AVGs are part of a 30-character attraction being built for China. The animated ride is the first of its kind in that country. It will be the centerpiece of an amusement park on the Mingtum Reservoir outside of Beijing. Visitors will be taken through an underwater world of robotic octopi and lobsters and end up at a palace of supple dragons.
With all of the props and figure ready, they got shipped inside of large containers to Beijing in order to be installed in the final attraction. As the year 1990 approached, the Jiulong Park or Nine Dragon Park finally soft opened for the press and employees before its public opening. On the side of its layout, the Jiulong Park itself seemed to be divided into two main areas. The south side with more conventional and themed attractions such as river rapids, a Ferris wheel, a log flume, and a karting track. The north side, however, was much more interesting. Located inside of traditional Chinese buildings could be found restaurants and stores, with alongside them the Science Pavilion, featuring a giant screen theater and a small exhibit on robotics featuring a talking animatronic head, also made by AVG Production. The park northern side also featured an aquarium, a haunted house walkthrough alongside paddle boats to navigate the shores of the reservoir. But perhaps the most interesting part of the park was the northeastern side, where you could find a pavilion and an island. Choose to come to the island and you will find there inside of the pagoda an animatronic of the goddess Guanyin talking to the visitors. This impressive figure was also the creation of AVG Entertainment. Let's go back around and choose to go on the land. It's there that you will find a small red pavilion with standing at its entrance two of the water dragon guard, a shrimp and a crab, firstly guarding the entrance of what was easily the most advanced and impressive Chinese attraction of its time. Once inside of the pavilion, you will be met by a rather rudimentary wait line before heading on an escalator to an underground world. Once here, you would stumble upon the loading station, with a stormy sea mural complementing the blue omnimovers you embark on. Your journey begins by entering inside of a cove, where you meet projection effects of a sandy shore in the distance. Progressing inside of the cove, large glass tubes featuring water bubble effect are also visible. For first-time visitors, excitement is often mixed with a hint of nervousness as they pass through the spiraling cave with wind effect. We finally enter into the shallow sea world. Green seaweed sways gently in the current and underwater flowers shift in color with changing lights. There we can see some animatronic crabs, squids, and lobsters living peacefully in their natural habitat. Suddenly, things take a darker turn as we pass next to the remnants of a sunken ship, with its captain having met a tragic fate. As you witness this spectacle, a shark lunges out, trying to grab you, as well as a giant wired-controlled octopus. We then enter a warmer, calmer scene, where animatronic mermaids sits on rocks singing enchanting songs, as well as Chinese fairy-like figures playing traditional instruments, performing welcoming music and conveying positivity from this underwater world. The vehicle then ascends to the Palace Hill, passing through the crystal realm scene made with beautiful showcases of blacklight technology. We meet again the shrimp and crab guards as animatronics, firstly guarding the entrance of the palace as the guests are invited to get a peek at the king of the nine dragons. We then meet the turtle minister, or perhaps diplomat, as he expresses friendly welcome in the name of the creatures of the sea. As we get welcome, we are met with the rather impressive sight of the palace hall with golden pillars. 9 impressive dragons figure dance and spit fire, achieved with a smoke machine and light effect. As the palace attendants welcome honored guests, their changing faces may suddenly startle you. A beautiful attendant can instantly transform into a frightening fish figure. As you progress through this lavish room, the giant dragon king of the sea animatronic is silently watching you. At the center of the room lies a giant fountain with a floating ball. The legend says that the Dragon King chooses successor amongst his 9 sons. By making them compete for a crystal ball rising and falling with the waves, the winner will inherit his throne. The rest of the room is filled with impressive animatronic dancers dressed in traditional Chinese clothes. As you progress, spiraling toward the top of the room, you finally arrive at the ride finale, where you witness animatronic fishes and penguins performing a musical number which isn't absolutely out of place. Your ride finally ends up with the loading area, where you ascend again to the surface to conclude your adventure. It's hard to describe how ambitious this ride was in 90s China. It is classified as the first e-ticket style dark ride to open in the country. It met immense success and was praised by the public for its quality of immersions and sets, except maybe for the finale. But as the years went by, things for the Jiulong theme park would take a turn for the worst. You see, China was going through its development phase faster than ever, and amusement parks were opening everywhere in the country. One of its best examples is Happy Valley. It was based on a standardization model rather than theming, making them look similar and very basic in a similar way than modern Six Flags do. The Jiulong theme park, on the other hand, was under the management of the Ming Reservoir Development Company, a governmental subdivision in charge of the area, and multiple updates attempts were done, such as the retheming of the park flume ride to a dinosaur attraction populated by animatronics. By the opening of Hong Kong Disneyland in 2005, attention and consumer habits shifted towards simpler entertainment, keeping the money for more qualitative themed experiences such as Hong Kong Disneyland. Thus, in the changing environment, the Jiulong Park started to fade away. By 2008 and the coming Beijing Olympics, a revitalization of the city was made by the government, and the aging park was, of course, on the chopping board. Thus, in 2008, the Beijing Jiulong Park was quietly shut down, and everyone had to forget this relic. The Olympic swimming competition took place in the reservoir, with the looming background presence of the park pagoda, like a shadow of the past, overlooking the progress of the future of its likely demise. But our story doesn't end here. After the pandemic, trends started to pop out on Chinese social media. There were words of an abandoned island in the outskirts of the capital city, a faded underground world sleeping quietly, waiting to be uncovered. Many courageous explorers started to visit the theme park remains and its dark ride, uncovering priceless footage of the remnants of the first Chinese large-scale theme park. Quickly, many netizens started to talk about the defunct park, getting revived through its online notoriety. Many accounts of the park ruins started to pop out, from its creepy figures to the live python that probably escaped from the aquarium, by the way. Over the last few years, the legends of the Dragon Palace even reached the international shores, with famous explorers such as Exploring with Josh launching himself to reach the park. Safety around the park perimeter was heavily enforced, and now many guards keep the area clear from curious who want to get a peek of the park of the past. So what can we say now about Jiulong Park? Its future still lies uncertain, with even people from the government not knowing what to do with the site. However, it's undeniable that this park concept was ahead of time for China, and surely a true theme park history chapter that have been overlooked for decades. So I do my best on my side to try to find ways to talk about it with people linked with the park, the place, or its history. As always, a big thank you for watching this video. It represents a lot of work of research and contact that led to some great discoveries. I would like also to thank David, an ex-employee of AVG's, which agreed to give me some insights about the Dragon Palace Dark Ride project. And also my fellow Chinese friends who, thanks to their job, were able to give me some insight of the park states. Feel free to check out my channel or subscribe for more. As always, thank you very much, take care of yourself, and see you guys soon in the next video.